Hello friends, this is Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and in today's video I want to talk all about chores, in particular homestead chores, and how we get all of the work done on our homestead as a very busy family of 10. So we do expect our children to help with chores, and I've done videos all about our chore situation and how we divvy out and do a chore lottery for the indoor and outdoor chores. But we also don't want to burden our children with too many chores. So every family has their own lines that they draw in terms of what constitutes too much work or too little work. And in this video, I'm going to kind of show you what we expect of our older children in terms of their homestead chores. What is unique about our family is that my husband Adam works a full-time job off of the homestead. A lot of other homesteading families have both parents home to do the work, and so we do, because Adam works off the homestead, have to rely on our children to help us out because it would be too much for me to handle all of the animals and everything on the homestead by myself while Adam is gone during the week. Adam does help out, obviously. I'm showing him here. He is our homestead handyman. He is Mr. Fix-It, Mr. Builder. So the kids and I manage the day-to-day work and then make a honey-do list. And when Adam's home on the evenings and weekends, it's his job to handle all of the work that the kids and I can't accomplish while he is gone. But the day-to-day runnings of our homestead would include the growing of all of our produce, the growing of all of our protein, the animal care, taking care of the dogs, the bees. All of those kinds of things tend to fall on the shoulders of the children and I. So I'm going to go through in this video one by one on each of those categories of homestead work, and I'm going to talk about how we accomplish that work, who is responsible for it, and approximately how much time that takes out of our day to give you a realistic picture of what it takes to run a homestead as a large family. So let's go ahead and dive in, starting with the garden. So I've mentioned in many videos that my garden used to be twice the size that it is now. It's now only currently about 2,000 square feet. I say only 2,000, but that's actually bigger than our house. Our house is only 1,600 square feet. So we have a garden that is bigger than our living space, and that is plenty for me to care for. Garden care falls on me as the mom. It's my baby, it's what I love to do, and it's how I contribute on the homestead. A lot of people ask why I don't have Adam help me, and it's because Adam is much more of a type A perfectionist. And when we've tried to garden together in the past, my rows that aren't straight and my kind of throwing things together bother him, and then his complete attention to detail and perfectionist tendencies will bother me. And so we just find it better to do this kind of work separately. And so he has handed over care of the garden to me. So I do all of the planting, I do the garden maintenance, all the watering and things like that. It's up to me. People ask why I don't have the children help me with that job, and it's because I count on the children to help around the homestead in many other ways that I'm going to detail later in this video, as well as in some ways inside the house with their chores. And so I don't want the children spending all day long out here weeding the garden. That is my job. The garden is my baby. And, I save that chore because I actually really enjoy it. Gardening is sort of a stress reliever for me. So this is my area of expertise on the homestead. On the other hand, another big part of our homestead is caring for the heating of the home. We live in Ohio where we can have very cold winters, and we do not have a furnace. We heat exclusively with wood, and that is Adam's area that he handles. And so every summer he spends a lot of his evenings and weekends procuring enough wood to keep us warm throughout the entire Ohio winter. It's his job to split the wood, and he then has the children help with stacking, and that is what we have to do. We are very grateful to have family and friends close by that have wooded properties, and whenever they have trees that are down, we will get calls to come over, and Adam will load up the trailer with wood, bring it back to the homestead, and then he will split it, and as I mentioned, the kids will get it stacked. This area back here, by the time winter starts, will be completely full of wood. You can see we've just ended the winter season, the wood burning season, and so now it is very empty. So Adam has a lot of work to do in the coming months to get that filled, get all of this wood split, and get us ready for next winter. All right, the next big area of work on our homestead is caring for our dogs. We have 3 livestock guardians. We have a breeding pair, Leela and Tom, and then we have one of their babies, Harry, here, and they are Boz Shepherds. They are so much fun. They love to play with each other, but they are big dogs. Our adult male, Tom, is about 175 pounds, so they are a big breed. And the care of the dogs falls to our teenage sons, Gabriel and David. They are responsible for feeding and watering the dogs. The feeding happens twice a day. So Harry is our puppy. He's just a year old, and so he still has puppy tendencies. Gabe here is working on training him to sit before he will open his kennel door. Because Harry is a puppy, he's locked up at night. We don't quite trust him around poultry and things like that unsupervised. And so part of the boy's job is to go let Harry out of his pen so that he can be free with his parents during the day. In all, the boys' chores with the dogs takes probably 20 minutes of their time throughout the whole day. It's really, not a lot of work. Obviously, at nighttime, they lock Harry up and the other two roam free. A lot of questions about why we breed our dogs when, there are tons of puppies that need to be adopted from shelters. These are a specific livestock guardian breed. They have innate guarding tendencies. You can't just take any dog from the pound and put them with livestock and expect them to not harm or injure, the baby livestock and things. So these are guarding dogs. They serve a purpose, and there are many homesteads out there that need dogs like this. And so we help fulfill that need by breeding Boz Shepherds, and the boys really help with that. When we are having puppies and whelping puppies, the boys do quite a bit of work in helping to care for the puppies. So that is one way that they contribute to the family, specifically on the homestead. And we really appreciate their help. They really love the dogs, and they do a great job of caring for them. So the 2 boys take turns doing those chores. One of them will typically do the morning work, and one of them will do the afternoon work. They used to do all of the animal chores, and recently my 2 girls have gotten old enough that they have taken over the care of the poultry on our homestead. Here's Gracie. She's here in the morning. She has a scrap bucket from the kitchen of our food scraps that she's taking back to feed the chickens. And Gracie typically does our morning chicken and duck chores. So let me kind of show you what that consists of. The amount of work that the chickens and ducks take basically depends on the time of year. Sometimes when we're brooding chicks, that will involve cleaning out the brooder and feeding chicks in the brooder. If we're raising meat birds, it might involve them moving chicken tractors and taking food and water out to the meat birds that are growing in the chicken tractor. And sometimes, like during the winter, we're not doing any of that, and it would just be taking care of the flock that is in our chicken run, our ducks and our chickens. And so the amount of work definitely varies throughout the year. I would say out of all of the animal chores, taking care of the poultry is the hardest chore. These girls do the most work when it comes to the animals, particularly this time of year, and then that will switch. And in the winter, other animals definitely require a little bit more work. Gracie typically does the morning work, and Elizabeth here, she's my 10-year-old. She handles the chores in the afternoon. She's also responsible for things like collecting the eggs. The boys will help her if she needs to move the chicken tractor. We currently have a batch of teenage chicks. This is a new egg-laying chicken flock that we are raising up, and she cares for them and takes them their food and water, and eventually they will go into another coop and run. We're working on doubling our egg-laying flock right now. So as I mentioned, the girls just took over this chore probably about a year ago from the boys. The boys were doing this work, and they were very happy now to have relief from one of the animal chores, and the girls do a wonderful job. We are extremely grateful for them. So, other than the feeding and the watering that happens twice a day, it will happen in the morning right after they eat breakfast, and it happens in the afternoon after the little boys wake up from naps. They'll go out about 4 o'clock and do the afternoon chores. So, besides those two sets of daily chores that happen whether it's raining or snowing or whatever, they go out to do their chores. We do have other animal chores that have to happen, and that is the cleaning out of the pens and the runs and things that the animals live in. So let's talk a little bit about that. Whose job that is, it sort of depends on the day. We're currently working on training up little ones. Little ones, for some reason, our 7-year-old boy, he loves to do this kind of work. The older kids aren't as happy to come out and volunteer their time to clean out a chicken coop and things like that. So this is the kind of activity that happens maybe twice a month or so. And if Adam is home, he will help clean out the pens, whether it's the chicken pen or the cow shelter or the dog houses and things. And we will just take whatever little ones want to volunteer their time to come help with us and contribute to the family that way, and they will help us do that cleaning. So that's a big part of animal care, is making sure that they have clean housing and they have clean feeders and waterers. That is a big one. We keep a scrub brush and some soap out by our water pump, and the children are responsible for cleaning out feeders and waterers on a weekly basis. Adam is I guess, the manager. He goes around in his time when he's home on the evenings and weekends, and he inspects the feeders, the waterers, the pens that the animals live in, and if they aren't up to his standard of cleanliness, then he will go get children and make them come out and clean them. And so I am grateful for his oversight in that area. And yeah, that's about it for the care of the chickens. As I mentioned, it's probably one of the most intensive animals to care for that we currently have on the homestead, but we sure do appreciate the meat and the eggs that they provide. Okay, another area on the homestead that we have is the bees. Beekeeping is my responsibility. I'm the only one that does work with the bees. That's probably because I'm the only one that cares to. Some of the children are kind of scared of the bees. Adam isn't really interested in getting into beekeeping. I have taken classes on beekeeping, and so it is something that I handle completely 100% of the time, unless it is honey harvest time, and then children will volunteer to come help me as needed. But we're very excited that we successfully overwintered our bees this year, and I will be busy doing that this fall. Another huge task on the homestead is dealing with all of the lawn care. And when you have, acres of property, the grass can be a huge burden. And in the first couple years we were here, before we had grazing animals, the mowing alone could take Adam, 5 hours just to mow the whole property. And then we wised up after several years and we decided it would make a whole lot more sense if we got an animal that would eat some of this grass and turn it into food for us for free and save him the mowing time. And so we turned over half, or not over half, almost half of our property into pasture, and we raise our beef out on it now. And it's a win-win for us. We grow beef, and Adam doesn't have to mow as much. So the boys are actually responsible for the care of our cows. When they go out to feed the dogs in the morning and in the afternoon, they just check on the cow water in the summer to make sure that it's clean and that the beef have enough. In the winter, the cow chores are a lot more complicated. It requires them to break ice out of waters. We have to supplement with hay. It's probably the biggest task in the winter is caring for the beef cows. And the boys contribute to the family in that way. But that is about the extent of the big homestead projects that we do. We all work together to accomplish it. And when we split up the work this way, no one person is doing what we feel like is too much. Everybody is contributing. With the children, their chores on a typical day take them maybe 20 minutes in the morning and maybe another 20 minutes in the afternoon, and they divide that up among the sibling groups that work on it together, and they get the work done and they are happy to do it. because they like to eat the food just as much as we do. But it isn't all work here on our homestead. Homesteading brings us a lot of joy. It's just fun to teach the kids how to work hard, how to grow their food, and there is plenty of time left over because we split the work up in this way. There's plenty of time left over for us to make memories and enjoy our property in the times that we're not working. So it's a good balance of work and play. So obviously, this isn't everything that happens on the homestead. There's a lot of work that is done in harvesting and preserving the food, and I do lots of videos throughout the year on how we accomplish that. It's definitely a team effort. We all work together to get that done during the heavy preserving season, and I'm going to take you guys along on a lot of that work throughout this summer. But I just thought I would take an opportunity with this video to show you how we get to the preserving point. And we get to the point of being able to preserve the food by all working together to grow it. So hopefully this video gave you a picture of how we accomplish everything here on the homestead. If you are a large or even a small family that is thinking about getting into homesteading, it is a lot of work, but it's also a beautiful life, and it is definitely worth it. You'll make great memories with your children, you'll teach them how to work hard, and you'll get to eat some wonderful food. All right, that's it for this video. We will see you this Sunday in another video. Until then, have a great week, friends. Bye.